If you're thinking about going on a coding bootcamp in the UK, then you're going to want to stay till the end of this video because these bootcamps are the best and the worst. Yes, you heard that right. They're the best and the worst. Now, I know what you're thinking. That's really, really weird. I'm Isak, founder of juniordeveloper.careers. I do a lot of work with people coming out of bootcamp, self-taught developer students, helping them with their careers, CV reviews, technical interview advice. I myself, I'm a software developer, as well as obviously founding, as I mentioned, juniordeveloper.careers, helping people into the first job, but also creating content around how to thrive as a software engineer. Now, what sort of helps me with this information is I actually advise a lot of boot camps. I help with their curriculum. I speak on careers to them. I deliver talks to the students, but I also do a lot of that for my own brand, obviously. Now, my main focus is careers because I love that side of things. I love being a software developer. I love mentoring, coaching, and helping people get into this field because it's been so rewarding for me. I think everyone deserves a chance. You could say it's my why. It's my passion to help people get into tech, and I love it. What you need to understand is what makes a good bootcamp and what makes a bad bootcamp, because these questions will help you understand or decide on whether a bootcamp is right for you. Now, a bootcamp could have great reviews and be brilliant, but it may not be suitable for you because of the way you learn or for your circumstances. So check out these 5 things, just 5 quick things that you can ask and understand about the bootcamp that you're deciding to go on to help you find the best one for you. Now, the first thing we are going to talk about is the quality of teaching. Now, this is a huge thing that many people underestimate. The reason being is that the quality of teaching can differ depending on the teacher, the syllabus, and obviously the content that they cover. Now, what I would suggest is this. When you approach a bootcamp, ask them about the curriculum first. The curriculum is what they will teach you of the 12 weeks that you're there. It could start with a few weeks of HTML, CSS, then a few weeks of JavaScript, then a few weeks of React, something else. But find out that it is actually based on what you want to learn. Ask them, is what they're teaching up to date? Are they teaching ES6 standards? Are they teaching what you're actually going to do in the job? Because if they're not, what's the point? Ask them about the day-to-day. Will you be in stand-ups? Will you be in group working? What is involved in the day-to-day of every day that you're going to be on the bootcamp? Because it's a huge time commitment. You need to know that's going to be beneficial. And the final thing I will say on this topic is, how is the teaching delivered? Is it online? Is it face-to-face? Can you do a blend of both? If it's a local bootcamp, maybe you want to be inside, face-to-face, get some of that close learning. You can also ask if you can stop in for a day or just a short while to see how the teacher delivers the content. It may well be that when you meet the teacher, you don't vibe with them, or you don't like the way they deliver their content or syllabus or teaching style, and it just doesn't work for you. But if you commit, spend a lot of money, and then are there for 12 weeks and find that out, it's a bit harder to sort of enjoy what you're doing. Now, the second thing that can make a good or bad coding bootcamp, and something that you definitely need to know about, is the support. Now, it's all good being on the course, but you need to know that you have the support that you need for your circumstance. Are you neurodivergent? Do you have a family? Are your time commitments shorter? Can you make up extra time in the evenings if you can't always be there during the day because you've got work commitments or you've got family commitments? These are all huge and valid questions which you should ask. Now, a lot of bootcamps have support groups and networking groups on their Slack channels so that you can stop in and get support and get caught up. Not all of them have out of hours content, so you can't always reach somebody out of hours. And if you take time off for an illness, you may miss a week, and it's harder to get the support to catch up because there's so many people on the cohort. It's hard for them to divide their time to you. So it's worth asking how much support you can get for your circumstance. It may be that you're neurodivergent or that your learning style is slightly different. If you don't ask prior to going on, you may not get the support when you're already on the course, which can make it harder for you. So figure that out. Now, number 3 is a big one, and quite honestly, with the one where most bootcamps go wrong, and one where I've sort of been plugging that circle with my startup, and I've done a lot and delivered a lot to people, is the career support. Now, it's all good learning to code, going on the bootcamp, getting to learn some JavaScript, but what's the point if you can't get a job afterwards, or you're not supported in getting a job? You are not paying for a bootcamp to learn to code. You are paying for a bootcamp to land a new career, or to start a new career, or get a job. Okay, so you need to understand that differentiation. If you want to learn to code, go on YouTube. If you want to get a job, you can go on a coding bootcamp. So when I talk about career support, I'm talking about CV reviews. I'm talking about interview practice tips and how to handle interviews. I'm talking about mental preparation, imposter syndrome, all the things which will affect you as you are then leaving the bootcamp to go on to land your first job. And one of the biggest things to do with career support and with bootcamps is, can they guarantee you an interview afterwards? Now, in 2017, 18, 19, when bootcamps were in their infancy, I'd say they still kind of are. Most of them could guarantee you an interview or a job at the end because there were a lot less people on the market. Now there are obviously a lot more because of the funding that's available. I'll touch on that in a minute. So your competition is a lot higher. They can't guarantee you an interview anymore. If they can, jump on it. If they can't, then you need to ask them what's the process for after you leave the bootcamp. How often will you be updated with jobs? Will they still touch base with you? Check on your CV. How are the responses been to your CV? Will they be keeping up to date with that? Will they be trying their best to get you into a job? Now, number 4 is particularly interesting, the cost. Now, we all know the cost for a bootcamp is really expensive. I've spoke about this in my other videos. I paid $6,000 for mine, and with the interest, it was very high. So if you can get a free funded place, which they are now giving as part of the Department for Education scheme in the UK, most bootcamps will offer you a funded place. You will get that $6,000 to $10,000 course for free. You will get that 12-week course for free. Now, if the bootcamp that you like doesn't offer funded places and you have to pay, you need to take into consideration things like how big are the payments going to be, how high are they going to be, the interest rate, are they going to start taking that money off you straight away? Or is it one of those deals where they only start taking a certain amount off you after you've got a job? Based on those things, you should find one that fits your financial and personal circumstances, which will obviously be better for you. Now, so far, we've touched on 4 things which can make or break or can show you what a good or a bad bootcamp. It's based on your situation. So understanding those 4 things will help you figure out which bootcamp is right for you based on your circumstances, the quality of the teaching and what they teach, how they teach it, the support that they give you for when you're ill, for when you miss sessions, for when you just don't get it, and the costs involved. Now, this is why I said that these bootcamps are the best and the worst, because for somebody who wants a free funded place, but maybe is neurodivergent, maybe one bootcamp is not as good as the other in terms of what they can deliver them, versus somebody who wants to pay for a place. Maybe it's a different bootcamp which doesn't offer funded places and they learn very quickly. Now, the 5th thing that you could always do is look at recommendations. Now, whether they are recommendations through friends and family or online forums or people that you know, it's always worth checking them out. You could also find them on YouTube. If you're watching this and you've been on a bootcamp, leave a recommendation, or even leave a bad one if you think that that's the case, because we learn from both the good and the bad ones. And when we're talking about the best bootcamps, we're talking about individual circumstances, and it's not to say one is better than the other, because I can give you people who I've worked with from each bootcamp, people who liked it and people who didn't like it. Again, it's based on individual circumstances. So take those 5 tips that I've just spoken to you about, ask the questions, and then figure out which is the best one for you based on your personal circumstances. So all of the bootcamps I'm going to put on the screen now are bootcamps where I've helped people afterwards, helped them with their CVs and reviews. I also know people who pretty much work at each one of these, if not the owners or the CEOs or the CTOs. So I can say that they are all good bootcamps, they are all nice people, and they've all produced great developers. However, I would also say, based on the 5 points that we've covered today, that you could ask those questions and you could find in this list one which will be most suitable for you. If you've looked at one of these bootcamps, it'd be great to hear, did you go on it or did you not go on it, and for what reason? If you have been on one of them, let us know what your experience was like, because you're going to help people who find this video. Now, if you've not, or you've not decided, I've done 2 more videos on why you shouldn't go on a bootcamp. Weird. This is just not a generic, my experience was bad sort of video. It actually talks about real reasons why you shouldn't go on a bootcamp. And I've also done a video on why you should go on a bootcamp. Again, it's not generic, like my experience was great, everyone going to bootcamp. It talks about valid reasons of why you should consider going on a bootcamp. So I do definitely recommend you check them out. And as always, please like and subscribe because it helps massively.